Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the shop and welcome back from classic work. Got another good one for y'all today. All the way across the big pond, as they say, inspected by Mr. Chang Wei, we got a Shars 3-jaw vise, or chuck, my bad. Anyways, what do a 3-jaw chuck and a trailer spindle have in common? Absolutely nothing until you build something awesome out of them. So stay tuned, it's going to be good. Alright, so what we're building is a rollout wheel, or a weld positioner, a mechanical weld positioner. So anyways, I've got this 3-jaw chuck here. This is a 6-inch. I made a mistake. I had a dyslexic moment when I was ordering it. I thought it was an 8-inch, but doesn't matter. It's going to work for my purposes. So what is a rollout wheel? So pretty much you put stock in there, you got a bearing and everything, you can rotate it back and forth without losing your ground, and you can weld something up with it. So if it's round, it's perfect. You know, a lot of pipeline guys use these for building little spools and all kinds of little neat stuff. If it's round and you need to move it, then this is a very, very good tool. So I'll show you what I got going on. This is a spindle for an aerator. This is what they keep their fish alive in catfish ponds with. Keep the oxygen levels up. If you can tell, all the scarring on this shaft might be a little hard to see, but they run these in what's called down here is water bearings. It's nothing but like nylon and paraffin wax, and believe it or not, this is stainless and it's eating through it. That's absolutely amazing. You wouldn't think something soft like that would eat up stainless, but it does. It doesn't hurt the bearings, oddly enough. Anyways, I got a pile of these to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld them all completely up and then put them in the lathe and turn it back down to this diameter. So if anybody out there has ever welded anything round, you constantly have to weld a little bit, turn it, weld a little bit, turn it, weld a little bit. You've got more time in it than you have material. So with the rollout wheel, I can chuck it up and weld it all the way completely out, and it might take, you know, at the very most, you know, stick welding, it might take 15 minutes to do this one shaft. And then you turn it down and you're right as rain. So I've got a bunch of these to do. A weld positioner is something I've been wanting to build for a long time. So we're going to get after it and get started. Cool thing about this 3-jaw chuck is I got a backing plate with it. This right here fits like a 10-inch south bend. This is a backing plate. It's an 1.5 by 8-inch thread. So we've got to build an arbor to adapt to this that will adapt to this hub over here. So let's get to the lathe and start turning some stock down. Alright, we're going to attempt this. We might crash something. I got Dicom on there so y'all can see what's going on here. So I'm going to dial in a cut for 20 thou for my first pass. Actually, scratch that. We're going to go 5 thou. Make sure that we've got everything's dialed in right. So I'm running pretty fast. I believe I can stop it in time. Alright, go. Perfect. Backing up. Alright, sweet. Make sure we're at 8. That looks good, real clean. See if I can get a little better image for y'all. Here's a little bit better look. Nice clean line. Sorry if the camera's a little shaky. There you go. You can see we're at 8 threads per inch. So we're in good shape. We can start dialing and cutting. Alright, we got the thread cut. I had to do a little finesse work to it, but that's typical on a thread. But it does thread on good. About a typical A2 fit, got a little slack in it. It's nice and rigid though. Got a good shoulder to clamp to, and it's true. And that's what's important. Alright, so I've cut out a little piece of 1-inch carbon here, and we got a good torch cut, but I'm going to clean this up so it's got a nice machine face so I can chuck it up in the lathe whenever we do our big bore here for the center of the hub. Now this might be overkill to the extreme level, but anytime I get a chance to whoop out the old shaper, I enjoy it. So we're going to clean all the faces up with the shaper and all that good stuff. So let's get her set up and get her going. let me bring y'all up to speed now. Now the big plate that I made, we got all our holes drilled in it. I made the holes oversized so this whole mechanism can move. Since then I've welded on some 1/4-inch plate on here to help support this top piece. That way we're not interfering with the cap. Now, here's our thread that we made. I've cut it off. We've got a little piece here. We're roughly going to put it on center, and I'm going to take an indicator here in just a second and try to get it, close so the rollout's not so bad on it. So this way, if we ever have to take, say the bearings go bad in this hub, or for whatever reason, doesn't matter, we have to take this apart. As long as you can find a 4-hole hub like this one, you can interchange it or replace it. So we'll get it in there, we'll check the run out and make sure it's okay. We got a little bit of slack in here, we can bump it around and get the run out real smooth. I might be overthinking this a whole lot, but heck, I think it'll work good. So let's get an indicator set up and see if we can't get the run out to be a minimum. Okay, I've got it all set up here with the dial indicator and everything. I had to plane a little bit of this down because it developed a warp in it when we welded it. So I've got it pretty close. Looks like it's about roughly 3 thou out. So I'm going to let that fly. That should be more than accurate enough. So the next hard part is tacking it without it moving. That's going to be tricky. So I'm going to get it tacked up. I'm going to move this indicator. That way I don't work the indicator up. We'll get it tacked up and see how we do. Warped up. Probably should have guessed that. I didn't see it move, so let's pull the other side down. And of course it won't fit up under there. Well, I finally got it. Got 2 tacks on it. I had to weaken this tack in order to pull this side down. And it's about 12 thou out. So it ain't perfect, but I think that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna let it go. Now here's the big rub. When I weld this, is it gonna distort it even more? Which it's gonna distort it, but hopefully it won't be so much that we can't. Hopefully it won't be too much. That's the thing. I'll go real easy on it. Yeah. Looks good though. Let me weld this up. Side. Magnetic stand I'm using here. Not bad. It's about 25 thou. That's not bad for welded on. I promise you. You'll never see that. You see it in a machine, but remember, this is all hand. Here it is if you had the shaft on there. Got a little bit of wobble jangle to it. But this right here may not even be straight. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. That looks good. Guys, we're halfway there, I would say. All we gotta do now is build our hand wheel that's gonna go on the outside, and we gotta build the tilt mechanism. And that is it. But that is it for the chuck and the hub. That's on there. Well, sorry guys, I had to take a break from this a couple of days. You can see the floor is sweating in here like you can't believe. I got all the tools oiled down, but it's been a rough couple of days. Anyways, I went through our junk pile out here and I found a nice ring gear. That's going to be our hand grabber deal. So we're going to weld it to this 1-inch plate here so we can turn it. So that'll be nice. This thing weighs a ton. I bet it already weighs 50 pounds as it sits. You know, with that big 1-inch plate and the hub, and the chuck ain't light either. So if you do decide to build one of these, I think I wasted a lot of space building it the way I did. There are probably a lot better ways, but that was the only thing I could come up with the type of hub that I got. So I'm a big believer, if it ain't steel, it ain't real. So I like big, heavy stuff. So it shouldn't give any problems. So anyways, I'm going to cut some stubs so we can weld our ring gear too, and then we can start working on the mechanism to make it tilt and everything. So let's get on that. Alright, I went ahead and welded the ring gear on there, no big deal. Just some little pieces of hex steel and just get them all equally spaced. Anyways, it looks real cool. Proud of that. Next, we got to work on the tilt mechanism and the brake. Actually, this thing's got to have a brake. So what I'm going to do is I got some 2-inch tube over here. We're going to cut a little piece off and drill a hole through it so it'll slide onto here. And then we'll leave a little bit sticking out, and we'll build the mechanism to stop the hub from turning. And then from there we're going to come down and we're going to build a hinge down here. We'll have to do some more turning on the lathe, and then we'll have another piece that goes back this way. So it'll kind of drop down and come back. And that way we can build our hinge. And I'm not sure how I'm going to build the plate that we're going to have like a jack screw on the bottom that can push and pull this jaw up and down, whether you need to level it or whether you need to work on something that's got pitch to it down or pitch to it up. So that's the game plan. So we'll get it together, cutting this piece up and drilling a hole for this to fit. Y'all know me, I don't build by plans, I build by feel. If it looks good and it feels good, then probably is. So that's the way I've always built stuff. So we're just going to continue to just piece together. Okay, we got the sport welded onto the spindle up here. Now we got to build a hinge to mount to this piece. Now this is 2-inch, just like this is, so this will fit inside of a receiver hitch on a truck or a bed or whatever you want to use it for. So you can mount this on the back of your truck, you can mount it on a bed, you know, it's very, very universal. Now we've got to build a hinge that fits here, and we got to build some kind of jack bolt system so this whole thing can pivot. And that way we'll be getting good then. I got a real simple idea for the brake up here. It should work great, so let's start building a hinge. Alright, bring y'all back up to speed. This is the hinge that I've built. Ain't nothing but a piece of 1 inch that I've drilled a 3/4 hole through. We got a 3/4 turn down. Same on the other end. Got a hole through the middle for a grease fitting, and we got a hole all the way through to allow the grease to get to the caps. So kind of like a linear universal joint. So, well, minus, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so what we're gonna do now, this is our piece that it's gonna be stationary. I'm gonna tack this to this piece, and then we'll get some little pieces of angle iron and tack onto this piece to weld these two, and that should work pretty well. Yeah, you may notice the hole back here. I got a little happy with the drill bit. I'm gonna have to weld that back up just a touch. Got a little bit thin there, so that ain't no big deal. One thing on these weld-on hinges, I've talked about this in a previous video, be sure you've got a lot of clearance in there. You can see how much. That's probably got 15-20 thou clearance in it. This one's a little tighter, I think. But the reason is, this is not a critical point. It's not going to be having an ungodly amount of load on it. So having slack like that, if it does decide to tweak on you whenever you weld it, it won't be hinge bound. It won't get locked up, froze up, is what I'm saying. I have fought hinges forever if you make them too tight. Do yourself a favor, make them pretty loose. Don't go as loose as I did on that one, but 7, 8, 10 thou in there, about a millimeter of slack. That's all you need. So 1/2 mil. Not a sliding fit, but a loose fit, very loose fit. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and tack this on here. Not bad. Pretty straight. Close. That's the only thing that matters. Being close. One. Man, what's wrong with that? Woo, woo. What you talking about, son? Okay. There's the whole idea, though. This piece here is floating in between these two, so it can move back and forth. This side's a little bent. I'm going to pull it down a little bit, but that's the basic concept. I'm going to weld it out real quick. Be sure I got everything in the right place. I don't like to get my head in the way when I weld, so y'all get the idea, you know, zap zap here, there. Okay, I changed it up just a little bit. I didn't like having these pieces backwards, so I've got them on like this. Now I can mount a plate right here, cover all that up so it looks good. Hinge works really well. I didn't plan on this, but it fits nice and solid against the axle spindle, or the spindle, really, not really an axle, but I like that a lot. That turned out really, really good. So the next thing is we got to have a way to adjust this. So it's not going to be like this, the way it's sitting. It's going to be, you know, roughly 90 degrees. But in case you're on unlevel ground or something, it needs to be able to adjust a tiny bit. Well, a good bit, depending on what you're doing. So I've got some of these push bolts. These are old-fashioned right here. What we're going to do is I'm going to put a plate on here, I'm gonna tack a nut on there, weld a nut on there, and then we'll have a little plate that I'm gonna put right here so it can push and pull against this piece. You'll have to like get a square drive socket, which I've got some, and like stick it through here to adjust it, but that shouldn't be too terrible, and it should be pretty easy to get to. So let me get to cutting some pieces and we'll get after it. Ooh, that's gonna be close. It's gonna work though. Look at that. What's wrong with that? Alright guys, we're in the home stretch now. So for the brake up here, I've just got a little plate with a hole in it. Gonna mount it right there, weld a nut on top of that hole, a bolt will go through there, you tighten it up, stops the hub. So easy as that, nothing to it. Just get everything tacked in place. Just want to make sure that we got the hole enough over the hub that it'll actually catch it, but not so close that we hit everything. So that's a little tack there. Good. Just want enough slack that it don't rub. Pull this side down. And that's nothing better than that. That's it. Finished welding everything up. It's ready for a paint job. Well guys, here it is in all of its glory. I've built some cool stuff in my life, but this right here is one of the coolest. It works so good. As you can tell, the run out is not terrible if I spin it a little faster. Now I did drop it a minute ago, and I think it moved this plate a little bit when I was trying to set it up on the table, so that might be where some of that wobble's coming from, but that's not bad. That is not bad at all. I'm super pleased. Brake works real well. I may have to do a little modifying to it if I don't want to skin that hub up too much. I may drill a hole in the end of this bolt and put like a brass insert in it, but it will lock it down. It won't move, so that's great. So loosen it up real quick and you're back in action. So I haven't tested this one. Let's see if it if it tilts real good or not. Grab a level. So if you're on the pipeline and you had to level the flange out, this is the way you would do it. So we need to go, let's see, just adjust it and see. Oh man, that is too easy. So you would lock your brake and adjust it from down there. Let me get a better shot so y'all can see. Take a look at that. I'm sorry about the glare. I don't know if I can do anything to help it. There we go. I mean, that was too easy. I mean, too easy. Well, guys, I don't know if y'all have ideas that come out really, really good sometimes. You wonder about them. This one just hit me with something that I didn't realize. Since it's able to fold up, you can put it in the vertical position and use it vertically. So I wasn't planning on doing that, but that was just a happy coincidence that it worked like that. So you could have your own manual rotary table, more or less, a wheel positioner, which that's basically what it is, but a lot of rollout wheels won't allow you to go vertical like that unless you get a real high dollar one. So that's an added benefit. So I mean, that's nice and easy if you want to rotate it. So multi-purpose. Guys, that's probably going to wrap this video up. I just wanted to do a little bit of overview real quick. Some of the things I would have changed if I had a chance to redo this again or rebuild it. A couple things: the 1/4-inch plate that holds the chuck on, it seemed like it was going to be enough at the time, but after I welded it in, it warped. It put a good bit of throw in it. I wish I would have made that a little bit thicker. And the little flaps right here that hold it on, same with them. Instead of this 1/4-inch material, 1/2-inch material would have been a little bit better, or 3/8. So just a little bit beefier. And there's a pretty good chance that it wouldn't have distorted so much. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I wish I'd got the ring gear. It's got a little bit of a wobble to it, and so you can see it. But I think it's because the ring is bent, actually. I think somebody ran over with a truck or something. So, you know, it's cosmetic. It still works just fine. as far as like material and everything, cost-wise, I think I'm into this chuck. I spent a little bit more than I meant to. I think I'm in it for about $250, $300, somewhere around there. You could build one of these a lot cheaper than I did because I bought a new hub and I used mostly brand new material. So you realistically, if you bought you a used chuck on eBay, you can get one for about 150, 125 to 150 bucks, and get an 8-inch. Do not do what I did and get a 6-inch. That was totally my bad. I didn't mean to do that. But it's going to work for what I need it to. If I need to go bigger, I'll have to buy another chuck. So that's the way it goes. But yeah, just a little insight on that. And I hope it gave y'all some good ideas out there. And I hope it inspires you to build one for yourself. So once again, here from Classic Work. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. And guys, I will see y'all next time. Y'all take care. And God bless. Okay, this was so bad I had to show it. Now I bought this chuck off of eBay and it came with its own backing plate. That's what we're looking at right here. This is the part that we've been working on to get our threads right. So I was just looking at it and I noticed I didn't deburr these holes, which that's a no-no in my book. But that's beside the point, it doesn't matter. But this, I went to bolt it up and this piece won't even come close to fitting. Take a look at this. This is embarrassing. Okay, if you can read that. Sorry about the glare. But that is 5.2, looks like 06. So 5 inches, 206 thou. We come over here to the chuck, measure inside. Roughly, if you can read that from there, I just have to tell you, that's 500 or 5.119. Okay, that's roughly like 80 something thou out. That is embarrassing. They must have made this on a Friday or something. Oh my gosh, I mean that is beyond not even close. That's like not even in the same room. Look at this. See that? That's no es bueno. That don't fit. It's not a big deal. I can fix it. But the point is, if somebody were to buy this and, you know, expect it to work out of the box, which it should, it wouldn't.